Hi guys, it's Mrs. Everly. Today I'm going to show you a way that you can demonstrate power shifts. And again, you guys, we are focusing on power. And again, you guys, when we're referring to power, we're really thinking about who's in control, who makes the rules. And we really talked about how power does shift, okay? It isn't just one person who makes all the rules the entire time in your life. And it's the same thing in the books that you're reading. It isn't just one character or one group of people that make all the decisions, okay? And we really talked about like Number the Stars and how power shifted between, you know, the Nazis and the Johansons and the Danish people and back to the Nazis. It was like an up-down roller coaster. And that is how power does look. It does seem very much like a roller coaster. So one of the ways that you could demonstrate how to do power shifts is through flipping a piece of paper and going up, down, and really thinking about, is it the Nazis? Okay. Is it the Danish people? Okay. That would be one way. And you know, if that works for you, that's fantastic. And you guys, that's a jot. And you might not even realize that. So by using a chart like that, and you know, like a line plot type situation or a bar graph, that's still a jot. And you guys are then telling me, oh yeah, you're realizing that, you know, power does shift, but then ultimately you're also showing me who has the power. Another way that I broke it down is that we're reading to we're to chapter 21. So I kind of broke it up into like 5 chapters, okay? So chapter 1 to 5, I just put down here, I have like a little key. It says a happy face is when Charlie has the power, and then it says down here a sad face is when Charlie doesn't have the power. So then I looked at that key and emojis, if you guys wanted to include the emojis. But again, you guys, it's something simple. It's, you know, using emojis, but it's also then I just put 1 or 2 sentences next to it to describe it. So when I'm looking at chapter 1 to 5, she isn't allowed to live at home. She's taking social services, comes in and says, you know what, your mom's unfit to take care of you. You need to be with an adult that, you know, is going to give you what you need and who's going to be present. So she's taken away from her whole life, her town that she lives in, her friends, her family, and she doesn't have the choice, you guys. So of course she doesn't have the power. So that's why I included a sad face. And again, you guys, this is great to pause the video, look this over, use this when you guys are jotting. Then when we think about chapters 6 to 10. So again, you guys, I'm really focusing on like 5 chapters at a time. You could break this down, you know, if you just started a new book, you could break it down by chapters. So like chapter 1, who has the power? Chapter 2. I just know that we're kind of farther in our book, and our book is a little bit of a longer book, so that's why I chose to break it up into 5. But there is no right or wrong answer when you guys are doing this. You just kind of have to figure out what works best for you. So when I said chapter 6 to 10, again, she doesn't have the power. And you guys, this is really focusing on like how she feels about school, like how she feels about being with people that she doesn't know. So I just said, you know, I did a sad face. Kids are making fun of her. So they laugh at her. She's wearing those boots. They giggle at her. They make fun of her. And she doesn't have friends. You know, I wouldn't say tries, but she just thought, she's like, I had friends in Raleigh, so why don't people really want to try to get to know me now? And they just make fun of her. They giggle at her. And of course that makes her feel insecure, and it makes her feel like something's wrong with her. And then she doesn't know her aunt or uncle. So she's sent to live with these people. We're starting to get to know Bertha and Gus and realize that she has never seen them before. So again, she's living with complete strangers. She not only has to move into a different town and move away from everyone, but now she's living with strangers that she's never met before. She even feels like her teacher doesn't even try to get to know her. She feels like her teacher is mean to her. She feels like her teacher doesn't give her the support that's needed. And ultimately, she just doesn't feel like she fits in. She just doesn't realize, she's like, do I fit in Raleigh? Do I fit in here? How long is it worth trying to fit in here if I'm possibly going to be going back to Raleigh in a couple weeks or a couple of months? So again, you guys, she's kind of in this gray zone, not realizing where she belongs. And then I said for chapter 11 and 15, happy face. That's when we really see that Charlie's starting to change, that she's starting to have things that she's looking forward to, things that she cares about. And that's found, in her friendship with Howard, that they're spending time together, that they're getting to know each other, that, she really is starting to open up, and she talks about her dad, and she talks about what life was like in Raleigh and what life was like, back with her parents. She's got her dog. She finally found the stray. She really cares about this dog, and it's something that she had wished for, and she finally has it. And Wishbone is starting to form an attachment to her. Her aunt and uncle really care about her, and she's starting to trust them. She's starting to care about them. But she realizes how great people they are and how great of role models they are. And she kind of realizes that she didn't have that when she was living at home. And then she's just starting to open up. She's starting to open up to Mrs. Odom, and she's starting to open up to Howard. She's starting to open up to her aunt and uncle. So we're starting to see that she's starting to apologize. She's starting to talk about things. She's starting to talk about her feelings. So again, you guys, there's lots of changes, but a lot of good things with the changes. And then I just put for chapter 16 through 20, we start to see that she's really back to like feeling upset, and the power is really shifting away from her. Wishbone runs off, okay? So they're at the creek. Wishbone runs off because he sees the chipmunk. That's out of her control. That's in his nature. So she feels like that's being taken away from her. And she feels like Wishbone did it because she said such a terrible thing to Howard. Her anger, her jealousy, her unfiltered mouth hurts Howard's feelings. And so at this point in time, Howard walks away from her. And so she realizes, or she thinks that it's because she was raised, raised to have anger and raised to not really think about other people's feelings, that it's not going to offend people. And she offended this one person who's been nothing but kind to her. And again, that's out of her control, she feels. And then she doesn't feel, and then we get all these emotions and these like conversations with her sister, and she's like, oh, all my sister thinks about is herself. She doesn't care about me. My mom doesn't care about me. My dad doesn't care about me. And my sister doesn't care about me. So again, you guys, she's feeling like a stray. She feels like she doesn't belong. So ultimately, we're back to seeing, the very sad, independent, emotional Charlie, where she just doesn't know where she fits in. So something super easy, you guys. I think this took me like 3 or 4 minutes to do, but again, this is just one way of showing this type of shift. You could do it in a graph. You could do it through this type of thing. You could even do like a tally chart, like, Charlie has this power, other people have the power, and then you can just mark it per chapter. But I just wanted to show you guys an example, and that is one visual way that you could organize power shifts. Goodbye.